welcome to the 64th installment of Em Alejandro. You know one place for sports, cars, video game, fitness. If you're a man, you're here. Miss Alejandro, I'm about to tell him.
What you about to tell him, Alejandro?
I'm about to tell you about the 2014 NFL Draft.
Tell him, Alejandro.
Over the weekend, the NFL Draft went down. The first round was a thriller. The first pick in the draft was Jadeveon Clowney. Now, Jadeveon Clowney it was anticipated that he was going to go first, but there was a lot of speculation. Should he go first? The Houston Texans drafted him, and there was speculation because of his work ethic and his heart, his motivation, his drive. A lot of people questioned his passion and his love of the game for football. He became famous 2 years ago, and everybody knew he was going to be a first pick in the draft when he had a hit that shook up the world. He hit somebody so hard, the guy's helmet came off of his head. The football went flying. It was an immediate fumble. It was like, wow, this guy is big, strong, young. He has it. But like I said before, a lot of people questioned him. He went first in the draft. He was crying when he finally got picked. I'm happy to see him finally get picked, and I think that was a great pick for the Texans. He's a defensive end. They're going to combine him with J.J. Watt. That's a fierce defensive line. I'm excited to see what that D-line is going to do, because me personally, the way that I like to build a football team is in the trenches, son. You got to have a strong offensive line. You got to have a strong defensive line. All that quarterback and receiver, running back, all that stuff is nice and cute, but if your line ain't strong and tough, you ain't really getting nowhere. This is football we talking about. This ain't tap dancing. Now, next up, the St. Louis Rams. I thought they had a great draft because they got, like I said before, it starts in the trenches. They got two good players in the trenches. One for the offensive line, Greg Robinson. One for the defensive line, Aaron Donald. That's how you build a team. And they also have a quarterback. They got some protection for the quarterback. They have a great defensive line. Chris Long, Robert Quinn, who just led the league in sacks. That team is looking scary. They also drafted Michael Sam in the final round of the NFL draft. That was a good look. Michael Sam was the 2013 Co-SEC Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm excited to see him get on the field and play all the hoopla and talk about his personal life. For me, it just doesn't even matter, man. I want to see him play football. The Jacksonville Jaguars drafted a quarterback, Blake Bortles. I was shocked, but I thought it was a good look because they do need a quarterback. I'm sorry, Blaine Gabbert, but you're whack. Just saying. Blake Bortles, I'm not crazy about him. I'm not crazy about the prototypical 6'5", 225 plus poster boy, but they say he could play. We're going to see if he could play. I think he could play. I think he's going to have a tough time, though, because the Jags don't have a lot of pieces. Even though they did pick up a good receiver in Marqise Lee out of USC in the second round, that's a good pick. A lot of people were high on him. I like him personally. I feel like Marqise Lee could play. I saw him make some plays out there in USC. I'm hoping that everything goes well for the Jags, especially since they just had their receiver, Justin Blackmon, who was a top receiver drafted in the first round a few years ago. I had high hopes for Blackmon, but he has a whole bunch of problems with substance abuse policy, so he's probably going to be suspended for the whole season. So I hope that Marqise Lee could produce and Bortles could produce also for the Jags. Even though the Jags are already saying they don't plan on having Bortles play this season, they're probably going to use Chad Henne. I don't know what that's about. I would start the young quarterback. That's just me. But, hey, I hope everything goes good for the Jags. Let's start next with Sammy Watkins for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills traded up and drafted this wide receiver. And Sammy Watkins is a beast, in my opinion. He's a problem. And the Bills traded Stevie Johnson, who's their top receiver. They got rid of him. They got rid of him for cheap. They sent him for the 49ers for a low draft pick. I felt like they could have got a little bit more, but hey, that's just me. Anyway, yeah, Sam Watkins, I expect to see good things out of him, but actually, no, there is no but. I like their quarterback, E.J. Manuel. I like what the Buffalo Bills are building, and I hope to see them do good. That's like the third New York team, you know. So I hope the Bills could ball, even though I don't want them to do better than the Jets. That's a whole nother topic. Let's go with the Raiders. They drafted Khalil Mack, who's a superb linebacker. There was a lot of talk about would Mack even be the first pick in the draft. And I'm sure the Raiders were shocked to have Khalil Mack drop to the 5th pick in the draft. This really happened because Bortles, who probably should have been drafted a little bit lower, ended up going 3rd in the draft. So the Raiders lucked out and got a great player at high value in a lower part of the draft. That's what's up. Next up, the Falcons drafted Jake Matthews, an offensive lineman. You already know how I feel about the trenches. They have a good quarterback. They're building, trying to protect for him. That's smart. If you can keep the quarterback up and keep the defense from bothering him and hitting him, you improve your chances of having your quarterback make plays for you. Just saying. Next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I thought they did a great job. They drafted a basketball team. They drafted 6'4" Mike Evans and who's a wide receiver, and they drafted tight end Austin Seferian-Jenkins, 6'5", to already go with their beast receiver Vincent Jackson. They're going to be rebounding, boxing cats out, and catching jump balls all season. I like what Lovie Smith is building out there in Tampa. Shout out to Tampa. Next up, let's go with the Detroit Lions, who drafted Eric Ebron, who's probably the best tight end in the draft coming out of college, to go with, obviously, who they already have. We all know
Megatron.
Calvin Johnson. Good duo. You got Megatron on the outside, putting in work. You got Ebron over the middle, putting in work. A quarterback always loves his tight end. That's a good pick right there. And they already have Brandon Pettigrew. I like Pettigrew, but Ebron is better. Just saying. He got to get the blocking, though. But these days, a lot of tight ends ain't even blocking, straight up. Next up, C.J. Mosley, Baltimore Ravens. Good draft pick right here. He was the other co-defensive player of the year along with Michael Sam. Good pick right here. The Baltimore Ravens are known for always having goon defense. Y'all know I like goon defense. It's nothing wrong with building the inside part of your goon defense. Next up, the Green Bay Packers. I like this pick right here. He's a cornerback. I'm going to enjoy saying his name all season. Ha, Clinton Dix. Yes, I did just say that. Ha, Clinton Dix. I'm excited to see him play. Make some interceptions, and just start. I'm already thinking of ways I can enjoy saying his name. Stay tuned throughout the season. We will be ha-haing it up all season long. Next up, this was my favorite pick. Big time fan. A lot of people scrutinize this kid because he's arrogant, brash, and he knows that he's good. He's about the paper. Johnny Manziel. This is my mans. You say something bad about him, I'm going to have to come get you, son. This is my mans. I like him the same way how I like Russell Westbrook. These are my peoples right here. A lot of people be criticizing Manziel because, he's a frat boy and he likes to drink and do this and that. I don't care about what he does in his personal life. I know when he steps on the field, the defense is in trouble. Straight up. The Cleveland Browns just drafted a gem already. He is leading the league in jersey sales already. He just got drafted on Thursday. Already, the Cleveland Browns are selling season tickets. It's going crazy. It's going to go down, son. I'm excited to see what Johnny Manziel is going to do on the field. Now, all this talk about him and how popular he is, if he goes in the field and he's whack, he's going to be irrelevant. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's very talented. I like his game. He may have some durability questions because he's kind of small, especially for this physical sport, football. But I think he's going to be fine. He's mad exciting to watch. Shout out to Johnny Manziel. I'm expecting big things from you. And he's the only reason why I continue to watch the first round after my two New York teams already drafted. Now, let's go to the Minnesota Vikings. They drafted a quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. I like Bridgewater. His draft stock dropped after he was passing for the NFL scouts with a shirt and shorts. No pads.
Listen, we talking about practice.
And since he didn't do good, all of a sudden his stock dropped. I think that's mad silly. If you see on film when he has the helmet and pads on in a real game and he plays well, I don't understand why if he's practicing and the practice doesn't go all that good, all of a sudden, this guy's whack, his stock drops, he can't pass with no defensive pressure, blah, blah, blah. It's practice. Practice makes perfect, people. Come on, scouts. Get with the program, son. I think Bridgewater's going to be a good quarterback, especially when all he has to do is turn around and hand the ball to the best running back in the league, Adrian Peterson. Bridgewater's going to be fine. Let's go to my New York teams, because I think they did a pretty good job drafting, especially the Giants. Let's start with the Jets. The Jets drafted in the first round a hard-hitting safety, a goon, Calvin Pryor out of Louisville. I like this type of player, that type of safety, that if you come across the middle, bam, quick, you're getting hit so hard. I like it. I hope that he doesn't get fined, though, because nowadays in the NFL, you can't hit people. But he's the type of player, if you remember in the Super Bowl, Denver Broncos, Seattle Seahawks. If you remember the receiver for the Denver Broncos, Demaryius Thomas, went over the middle to catch the football. Then what happened? Safety Cam Chancellor for the Seattle Seahawks, bam, hit the life out of Demaryius Thomas. And that set the tone for the rest of the game. The Broncos were like, whoa, Seattle's really coming to play. That's the type of player that you have, Calvin Pryor. Similar to Cam Chancellor, hard-hitting safety. If you come over the middle, you're getting hit hard. And then for the rest of the game, you know you're going to be looking at the ball, trying to catch it. But you're also going to be looking on the other side to make sure Calvin Pryor ain't lurking to hit you. I like it. It's perfect for the Rex Ryan defense, the coach for the New York Jets. I like it a lot. Then in the second round, They scooped up a great tight end, in my opinion, out of Texas Tech, Jason Marrow. I like him, big and strong. That's going to help build Geno Smith or maybe even Michael Vick. Whoever the Jets decide is their starting quarterback, I like this tight end that they drafted. Let's go to my New York Football Giants. I thought they had a great draft. In the first round, they drafted Odell Beckham Jr. out of LSU, beast receiver, speed receiver, I should say. Combine that with Victor Cruz doing work on the inside. By the way, Cruz, you still have not answered to my salsa challenge. I am definitely waiting. I think that you're scared. I will out-salsa you any day. Just saying. Anyway, Odell Beckham Jr. on the outside putting in work, and Cruz putting in work on the inside. And then that goes to my next pick. In the second round, the Giants drafted a center, Weston Richburg. That's going to help protect Eli Manning. If I remember I said it in my Giants review, the Giants offensive line was atrocious. And eventually it just messed with Eli Manning's psyche because he started dropping back and counting because he knew he was about to get hit. Help build the offensive line. Help with a receiver. Give Eli some weapons. That's a good look. In the third round, the Giants picked up Jay Bromley, a defensive tackle out of Syracuse, from Queens, New York, went to Flushing High School. I like this pick a lot. He went to college for 4 years. He's a hard worker. He's going to make the team. I like him a lot. Shout out to Jay Browning. And fourth pick, I like this guy. I tweeted about it. Andre Williams, strong running back out of Boston College. He's strong and brawling like your boy, Mr. Alejandro. Power runner. Power, baby. He's similar to Brandon Jacobs, who used to run for the New York Giants, but he retired. Brandon Jacobs was bigger and stronger and more beastier, but this guy, I like him a lot. He's young. He's going to bring back that tough-nosed power running that the Giants have been missing for quite some time. He's going to run like me, but in a different body. So shout out to the Giants. Great draft by the Giants. Good draft by the Jets. Good draft by a lot of teams. A lot of teams improved. And man, oh man, after the NBA playoffs, I am going to be so excited for this NFL season to start. There you have it, folks. My 2014 NFL Draft Review. What was your favorite part of the NFL Draft? Did you expect Jadeveon Clowney to go first in the draft? And what about my mans, Johnny Manziel, going to the Cleveland Browns? Tell them in the comments. Tonight's flashy polka dot bow tie is brought to you by Ike Behar. You already know I'm looking wavy as usual. Holla at your boy. Tune in for more sports, cars, video game, fitness, and all that. Follow at Em Alejandro on Twitter to hear my immediate reaction to live sports events. Or, if you want to hear me cover a certain team or topic, tell them. Outro music! Yeah. NFL draft this year was popping. A lot of teams got better. That's what's up. I can't wait for the NFL season to start. Tonight, I will be keeping a very close look on my Brooklyn Nets versus the Miami Heat. And I will be giving y'all an NBA playoffs update tomorrow. All 4 series are 4 games in. It's going to be hot. And, of course, Jay-Z and Solange. Oh, my God. Let's get it. Get it. Get it. Get it. T-E-A. Woo! T-E-A. T-E-A. Get it. T-E-A. Hey. Hey.